Could you imagine waking up in a completely new body? It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But what if I told you it's a concept that scientists have been seriously exploring? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mind-bending and controversial topics in modern medicine: the human head transplant. Let's start with the big name in this field, Dr. Sergio Canavero. Back in 2015, this Italian neurosurgeon made headlines around the world when he announced his plan to perform the first human head transplant. His project was called HEAVEN, which stands for Head Anastomosis Venture. The idea was to help people with terminal diseases or conditions like quadriplegia, where their body has failed but their mind is still sharp. Imagine someone with severe muscular dystrophy being given a chance to live in a healthy, functional body. The potential benefits are undeniably huge. So how would this even work? Dr. Canavero's proposed procedure is incredibly complex. First, you need two people: a recipient, who provides the head, and a donor, who provides the body. The donor would typically be someone who is brain dead but has a healthy body. Both the recipient's head and the donor's body would be cooled to a very low temperature to slow down metabolic processes and prevent cell death. Then comes the most critical part: severing the spinal cords. Dr. Canavero proposed using an ultra-sharp blade, something he called a diamond nanoblade, to make an incredibly clean cut. The theory is that a clean cut is easier to repair than a jagged one. After severing the cords, the recipient's head would be moved onto the donor's body. Now for the magic, or rather, the science. The two ends of the spinal cord would be fused together, using a special substance called polyethylene glycol, or PEG. PEG is a polymer that has been shown in some animal studies to help fuse nerve cells back together. Once the spinal cord is fused, surgeons would painstakingly reconnect all the blood vessels, muscles, and other tissues. After the surgery, the patient would be kept in a medically induced coma for several weeks to allow the connection to heal, followed by intense physical therapy to hopefully regain control of the new body. It sounds wild, but it's not entirely new. Scientists have been experimenting with this for over a century. In 1908, a surgeon named Charles Guthrie attached a second head onto a dog. The head survived for a short time, even showing some basic reflexes. Then, in the 1950s, Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikov performed several head swaps on dogs, with some of the two-headed dogs surviving for almost a month. The most famous experiments were conducted in the 1970s by Dr. Robert White, an American neurosurgeon. He successfully transplanted the head of one rhesus monkey onto the body of another. The monkey survived for about a week. T could see, hear, and taste, but because Dr. White didn't even attempt to connect the spinal cord, it was paralyzed from the neck down. These experiments were groundbreaking, but also sparked a massive ethical outcry. Animal rights activists were horrified, and many people questioned the morality of such procedures. This brings us to the huge mountain of challenges and controversies surrounding a human head transplant. Let's start with the technical hurdles. The biggest one is, without a doubt, the spinal cord. Our spinal cord is like a superhighway of nerves, carrying countless signals between the brain and the body. Severing it is one thing, but successfully reattaching millions of nerve fibers so they function perfectly is a challenge that many scientists believe is currently impossible. Even if you could get some nerve fibers to regrow, would it be enough for the person to control their new body? Could they walk, use their hands, or even breathe on their own? The risk of complete paralysis is enormous. Then there's the problem of immune rejection. Our body's immune system is designed to attack anything it doesn't recognize, like bacteria, viruses, or a transplanted organ. For a head transplant, you're not just transplanting one organ, you're transplanting an entire head onto a new body. The patient would need to take a powerful cocktail of immunosuppressant drugs for the rest of their life. These drugs have serious side effects, increasing the risk of infection, kidney failure, and cancer. Is it worth trading one set of medical problems for another? Beyond the medical challenges, the ethical questions are just as daunting. Let's think about identity. Who is the person after the transplant? Is it the person whose head it is living on with a new body, or is it a new person altogether? Our sense of self is deeply connected to our physical body. How would a person cope psychologically with waking up and seeing a complete stranger in the mirror? The potential for a severe identity crisis, depression, and other psychological trauma is immense. We're talking about a level of psychological stress that is completely uncharted territory. And what about the donor? The donor would be a brain-dead individual, but their body is still biologically alive. Is it ethical to use a human body in this way? Some people see it as the ultimate act of organ donation, while others view it as a desecration of the human form. It raises profound questions about what it means to be alive and where we draw the line. Society would have to grapple with entirely new definitions of life and death. There are also social and legal issues. Who would be the legal parents of any children born from that body? What would their new legal identity be? And who gets to decide who is eligible for such a procedure? Given the immense cost, it would likely only be available to the super wealthy. This could create a dystopian future where the rich can essentially buy new bodies to extend their lives, while the poor cannot. It raises serious concerns about social justice and equality. So, where do things stand today? Dr. Canavero claimed to have performed the procedure on a corpse in China in 2017 to practice the technique. He also announced a collaboration with Dr. Xiaoping Ren, a surgeon who has performed similar experiments on mice. They even released a video showing a dog that could supposedly walk after having its spinal cord severed and repaired. But many in the scientific community were skeptical of the claims and the evidence provided. Since those initial announcements, things have gone relatively quiet. The promised first human head transplant has not happened. The volunteer who had agreed to the procedure, a Russian man named Valery Spiridonov, who suffers from a rare muscle-wasting disease, later backed out. He decided to pursue more conventional treatments for his condition instead. The mainstream medical and scientific community remains highly skeptical. Many neurosurgeons and ethicists have called the plan reckless, premature, and more science fiction than actual science. They argue that the fundamental problems, especially spinal cord fusion, have not been solved, and attempting the procedure on a human would be unethical. They believe that resources would be better spent on advancing research into spinal cord injury treatments, like stem cell therapy or neurostimulation, which could help millions of people without resorting to such an extreme and risky procedure. In the end, the idea of a head transplant forces us to confront some of the biggest questions about life, identity, and the limits of medicine. While it may seem like a distant, fantastical idea, the debate it sparks is very real and very important. It pushes us to think about the future of humanity and what we are and are not willing to do in the name of science and survival. IT is a powerful reminder that just because we can do something doesn't always mean we should. What do you think? Is a head transplant a revolutionary medical breakthrough on the horizon or a dangerous and unethical fantasy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about this incredible topic. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.